Hi guys! As some of you know, I was in Finland visiting my family. Now I'm back and I'm back to filming, back to creating some new recipes, and I have some great recipes for you. And since I mentioned my trip to Finland, I got some requests for some photos from my travel. I was actually planning to film a little bit there, so I was hoping to go around and film some short videos and then maybe make a short video for you guys to see my hometown during the winter. But unfortunately the weather wasn't as good as I expected. It was mostly raining, it was really cold, and I decided I will just take some photos and I will show those to you right now over here so you can see. So I did go around in the city when it was snowing. We went with my sister to some Christmas markets where I got some treats for Christmas, and it was great to see the city and kind of walk around, but it was really freezing, so not that many photos. I'm sorry about that, but at least I got some shots for you to show, and at least it was snow for those shots. So the winter is kind of moved more towards January in Finland. Usually I remember, or before I remember, on my birthday at the end of November there was always snow. It was all white, and Christmas was also really white. But for some reason, maybe it's the global warming or whatever it is, but the climate has changed, and nowadays the real winter really starts like after January. So if you're visiting Finland, it's probably the best time to plan the visit there after January, so after the holidays. That being said, it also depends on the part of Finland you are going to. I don't want to go too much into detail, but I come from Lappeenranta, which is more south, and I'm gonna link here a video where I was showing around the city. That was summertime, I think, so there's no snow there. Maybe sometime I will get a chance to film the real winter weather as well, but for now, if you want to see, then there is the link for you to see my hometown. And now finally we are going to get into the recipe. So today I have a really fun recipe for you. It's one dough, 4 cookies. So it's a cookie dough recipe, a basic cookie dough recipe which makes 4 different cookies. Isn't that great? You do like just 1/4 of the job and you get 4 different kinds of cookies. I was really excited to try make this kind of a recipe, and it turned out really great. All of these cookies are really delicious, and I really hope you will like this recipe as well. I have the sugar and the butter here, and I'm gonna just beat it until it's nice and pale. Then once it's all well combined and pale, you want to add a pinch of salt, the egg, and continue beating shortly until the egg has combined. And then once the egg has combined, you want to start adding in the flour little by little while beating. And you want to beat on low. And once you've added all of the flour, you want to mix just until it kind of starts coming together. Then I'm gonna remove the whisks and I'm gonna just fold everything in with my fingers so that all of the butter and flour is well combined. You want to mix just until it all comes together, and then we are going to divide it into two. So now I have half of my dough here, and I'm just gonna add in 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, unsweetened. And then you want to continue working the dough just to work in the cocoa powder. And once it's all well combined, you want to divide this into 2 pieces. So we are going to make 2 different cookies from the chocolate dough, and then you want to wrap it in cling film and refrigerate overnight. I have half of the vanilla dough here, or the light dough, and now I'm just gonna work it, well, first into a bowl, and then I'm just gonna roll it into a sausage shape. And then once it's nice and even, you want to sprinkle some hazelnuts over your cutting board. Be generous, and so that you have enough for the whole length of the roll. So, and then you just want to roll the dough and press the hazelnuts into the dough. You can roll a couple of times just to make sure you have everything covered. And then you want to wrap the dough into cling film and store it in the fridge overnight. Then this is something I'm gonna do both with the white dough, so the other part of the white dough, and also with the chocolate dough, because with those I'm not adding anything into the dough itself, but the decorations will be what make them different. So with the chocolate dough you also want to divide it into 2 and then roll it out. Or not roll it out, but roll it into this kind of, well, a sausage shape, I would say. I don't know how else to call this. So you just want it to be even, and then you just want to wrap it in the cling film and refrigerate. Same with the rest of the dough, so with the chocolate dough. Now we are on the second day and the cookie dough is ready to be baked. But before I will start doing that, I want to make the ganache for 2 of the cookies. So I want to make this before because it takes some time for the ganache to come to the right consistency. So we are going to make that first and then bake the cookies. So I've chopped the chocolate, and then I'm gonna add the chocolate into a bowl, into a heat-proof bowl. So I have the chocolate here. Now I'm gonna add 1/3 of the weight of the chocolate in cream. So I have 150 grams of chocolate and I'm gonna add 50 grams of cream. And here, to get the right consistency, you really want to weigh it, because otherwise you might get a too runny ganache or a too thick ganache. And now you could either melt this over a water bath. I like to do it in a microwave, just in small intervals until the chocolate has melted. Now I also want to chop the milk chocolate. And also transferring my milk chocolate into a glass heat-proof bowl. And then the same thing with the milk chocolate. You also want to weigh the cream, but here we are adding 1 part cream to 2 parts chocolate. So 200 grams of chocolate and 100 grams of cream. And also the same thing with melting the chocolate. I'm also gonna melt this in microwave. So once the chocolate has melted, it should look like this. It should have no bits of chocolate anymore, and it should be nice and smooth. Then you want to just leave it aside until it thickens up and the consistency is pipeable. And the same with the white chocolate. Once it's nice and smooth, you want to add in the coconut and fold that in or mix it in. And once it's all well combined, so once the coconut is mixed in, you want to also leave this aside to cool and thicken up until it's pipeable. So now that the ganache is setting and cooling, we can get back to the cookies. So I have the cookie rolls out of the fridge. They are a little bit uneven, so some are a bit bigger than the other ones, just because I roll them that way. So because these are cookies with no tools, we don't really care about that too much. So I'm gonna start with the one with the hazelnut crunch, and what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna kind of see if I can make it rounder just a little bit, and then I'm gonna unwrap it and cut the cookie pieces. So don't make them too thick, but also not too thin. So something like this. Then I have my cookie sheet ready. I am using one with a silicone mat, but you can use a regular one covered with some parchment paper. And I'm just gonna lay the cookies or arrange the cookies over the cookie sheet, leaving some space around each cookie. Now I will pop these in the oven, and the rest of the cookie doughs will be resting in the fridge in the meantime. Once your cookies are out of the oven, you want to allow them to cool just a little bit on the baking tray, and then you want to remove them into a cooling rack. Then I have my second dough here. This is the plain dough as well, and this one I'm gonna cut just a little bit thinner because these will have the coconut filling, the coconut white chocolate filling. So I'm just gonna cut these just a little bit thinner so that they won't be really thick when I add the filling. And then I'm gonna also bake these, and these will take a little bit shorter because they are thinner, so you want to watch them a bit closer than the hazelnut ones. And now also the plain ones are ready. I'm gonna give them a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna move them into a cooling rack. And then we are on to our next dough, and this is one of the chocolate doughs. I'm gonna cut this one the same way that I cut the plain dough, thin pieces, because this one will be filled with the chocolate ganache. So the chocolate ones have also baked beautifully, and now I'm just gonna give them a couple of minutes before I remove them and allow them to cool as well. Then I'm on to the last dough. So I have the last chocolate dough here, and I'm gonna cut this one the same way I did with the hazelnut dough. So just a little thicker than the ones that are gonna be like sandwich cookies. Now while I'm waiting for the last batch of my cookies to bake, what I've done here is I've paired the plain cookies, so the ones that I cut thin, and now I'm gonna fill them with the white chocolate ganache and coconut. You just want to add a little and then press the lid on, and you want to make sure that there's some of the ganache kind of coming to the edge of the cookie. There's something that we will do with this, so still something to do with these cookies, but now I'm gonna leave this aside and I'm gonna pop the ready cookies once I've done all of them into the fridge, that's just to allow the ganache to set. Now my cookies with the white chocolate ganache have had some time to set, so they've been sitting in the fridge for about 5 minutes, and now the white chocolate ganache has set. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll them in coconut, and hopefully I'll have some coconut stuck to the edge of the ganache. So we have a bit more of that coconutty flavor, and also it makes a beautiful look for the cookie. And this is also why you want to have that ganache come right to the edge of the cookie, because otherwise you won't have anything to stick that coconut to. So like this. Now my ganache is also, or the milk chocolate ganache is also ready to be piped. I don't know why it looks so dark, even though it's milk chocolate, well, but this is the consistency you're kind of looking for. So when you mix it and it keeps its shape, then you know it's gonna pipe up and not just pull out of your cookies. So you want to wait until it's thick enough to pipe, and then you want to transfer it into a piping bag and pipe into the cookies. And again, I've paired the cookies, so I have the bottom and the top part paired, and now they're ready for the ganache. So same as with the white chocolate, you just want to pipe some of the ganache on the cookie and then add the top layer. And for the last batch of cookies, I've melted some candy melts here. I'm using candy melts because they set a little bit faster than white chocolate, and also they're a bit more whiter, so I will get a better contrast with the dark cookie. But you could also use just regular white chocolate. And so now I'm just gonna dip the cookies, so about just over half, into the candy melts, and then I'm gonna allow it to drip off first, and then once the excess has dripped off, you want to place it on parchment paper. And once the chocolate is still wet, you want to add the crushed candy cane on top. I know Christmas is right around the corner, but these cookies really don't take that much time to make. The only time, or the only thing that takes a little bit of time, is when you start to kind of decorate each separate cookie. But apart from that, the dough is really fast to make. It will take you about 15 minutes. Then you just want to chill it overnight, and then you fill the cookies. So we have a coconut white chocolate cookie, then we have the chocolate cookie with the peppermint, then we have double chocolate cookies and the hazelnut crunch. So there's a cookie for everyone, and for me, I just love them all, so I am going to enjoy all of these. And even though there is not that much time until Christmas, there is time to bake these cookies because they are so fast to make and you get a lot of variety from just one cookie dough. I hope you will be trying out this recipe for Christmas, and if you will try it out, please let me know how you liked it and which cookie was your favorite. If you liked this video, don't forget the thumbs up so I also know you liked it, and to set me off that Christmas spirit. And if you're new to my channel, then you can subscribe over here, and if you tap the bell, then you won't miss any of the new videos. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.